la winner en la operativa.
El año
Pero
pasado,
no te va a poner...
escucha, el año pasado presentaron uno.
Ah, vale. El año pasado...
Pues
Como curvas.
no somos lobos, como un Papá Noel.
El logo, pero la mitad lo que estoy poniendo yo en las fotos es medio logo, una cosa así.
Ya le han quitado, Adri, quita la silla, que no se ve.
Yo le he hecho foto ahí empapelado. Lo que no sé si ya estaba diciendo. Ahora estoy. No lo sé porque le he dado un giro, no sé si ahora está diciendo.
Voy a ir poniendo el tweet.
Je wil dat ze daar laten zien.
Estaba la foto de la tengo un grupo de WhatsApp que teníamos foto del grupo, la foto de la mujer de Bulgaria. Esta mañana eso que estaba probando el móvil, yo he hecho una foto y he salido que llevaba gafas de sol y las gafas normales y las gafas de sol. Y se la gafas de sol. Mira, la he puesto lo que ahora también. ¿No?
Y este se puso.
Sí.
Yo creo que ya pensé que era él, pero es más guapo él.
La de al lado está...
Hay que hablar con él. ¿Quién es el que hay que
No está aquí, no está aquí. No está aquí. Pero esto va a empezar, no va a empezar. Bueno, porque estamos todos acompañados. Uy, hay mil. No sale el ingreso.
me va a ir la batería. Y ahora me pide una actualización de Instagram.
No te deja sin actualizarlo. Ponle ahora no.
Creo que sí.
Ahora no.
No lo sé.
Ya.
No sé, eso no sé.
Mira que se está viendo. Con el...
De todo.
Venga, va, que acabará la batería, va. Está lo mejor de cada cosa. Baker, yo...
La del cortijo, que estamos... Ah, mira, es que hay alguien así que nos ha visto.
Se ha puesto lo que parece un granado.
Podemos poner esto.
Baja un poco la voz, que se está oyendo toda la sala. De lo que está
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the official press conference between EBU and the Public Broadcasting Services of Malta. We would like to welcome the Executive Supervisor of the European Broadcasting Union. Welcome, Yolanda, to the Chief Executive Officer of the Public Services, and also Charles, the Executive of the show we will be seeing over this coming Sunday. So for the next minutes we're going to have a chat about what's happening around in Valletta and a couple of other questions related to the Eurovision Song Contest, and also we'll have time also to ask your questions along the next minutes. Free to ask whatever you like. So welcome to our press center. Quick question related to the theme of this year. PBS have chosen Embrace as the slogan for this year's contest. Why have you chosen this title, and what's the story behind Embrace?
Well, there's no better word than embrace. You embrace every challenge, you embrace every moment of all the preparations for next Sunday. You embrace all the countries from different parts of Europe and the world. We embrace anyone who wants to come and see us on Sunday, and we embrace anyone who wants to watch us on Sunday around Europe. All those millions of people, we will embrace them and we will welcome them, although they're not here, but they are embraced and welcomed to Malta.
Okay, Malta's hosting the festival again in a span of 2 years, so this wasn't easy for all the crew at PBS. But how challenging was this to get everything ready in a short period of time, and above all, hosting the festival again within a period of 2 years, being so small as a country?
Okay, despite hosting it 2 years ago, where we can say we have some experience and we have quite a good experience at that, every contest, so we took off as if we were doing it for the first time, both from the creative side, both from the technical side, and we tried to give something different. First of all, this year we came to the capital city of Malta. We wanted to show Valletta, and wanted to show part of the history of Valletta. So for us it was even a bigger challenge to enter in a 350-year-old building, and respecting actually the history of the building as it is.
Yonola, this year we've seen a couple of changes in the structure of this festival, a change in time of broadcast, targeting also younger audiences. What's all this about?
Well, I think it's good, you know, it's been around for 13 years. This is the 14th edition. I think once in a while we have to set the foot in the ground and see are we actually doing the right show? Are we producing the right content for our members? And we stretched out to a lot of members who were not participating, in addition to the steering group, that oversee the preparations we do, and we asked them what kind of changes they would like to see in order to make Junior Eurovision fit better on their schedules. And one of the clear feedback we got from almost all of them was, could we find another time slot? It's running very, very late in the evening, especially when you go further east. And for kids, Saturday, there's strong competition on your channels. Many of the broadcasters have all the voice strictly condensed idle, and find a more suitable time slot for the show, so we could could stand stronger on the schedule actually. So that was the reason why we changed the timing and the day of the show. And so much have changed also since this started back in 2003 on the whole TV competition market in Europe. There's a lot of new channels coming up, a lot of new programming coming up, and we have to be relevant to work with that pay in the TV industry, and that's why we decided to change the time and day.
Despite having one of the highest numbers here, it's clear that over numbers never increased so much. How difficult is for EBU to convince and national to participate?
We can, but in the end, it's opposite side brand. But actually, also with the narrative of first and day, but also the narrative to try to a little different by parts of the format. That also competition team maybe, but that's I'm not sure that it's benefit.
John, we have a smaller venue than 2014. Less ago next Sunday.
No, it's we're gonna a show Germany. Because it's gonna be a great show. The producer Charles, they can take any challenge. I would also like to add that all this happened working on this in August, isn't it? And now on the 20th of November, we will be enthusiastically, happily, with also difficulties, because the venue is that we wanted to we've achieved it, and we're very proud of it. Very proud.
Charles, the stage is outstanding. What's the concept behind?
So we tried to show the theme throughout it all. So the stage is embracing the audience, and the audience is embracing the stage. So it's a two-factor. Lights, but to add something to the stage and of the venue. Because throughout our thinking, we decided for the junior. We think that this is the right size, both for and also itself. Apart from the stage and photos, we have something new, and that would be the green room.
Yes, the green room is not that we know about. We normally see in the Eurovision, or also the junior Eurovision. The concept of this year, it's part of the audience itself. Can you explain a little bit the concept of the green room, the new green room? No longer green anymore. So,
the new green room from the Embrace team, where we wanted to audience the stage presence and with the performers themselves. But it is also an opportunity for members of the public here to performers. The show also looks like a red carpet. We will show for the audience and also for the performers themselves.
So we're going to have great fun this coming Sunday. EBU has opted out of televote for this year's contest. What's behind it?
Well, this is also some of the feedback we got from members that saw that the interest was very low for televoting actually for the show, and it's an expensive operation. So we decided that we shouldn't do that, and instead adding on a new layer, a new narrative, sorry, to the contest itself, an expert panel. And we thought I could give much more valuable feedback for the artist, actually meeting face to face those who will vote for them in the end. And we think that is a great achievement. I think we have a great panel this year. And hopefully this is something that we will continue to do. We will definitely not go back to televoting, simply because it's an expensive operation to run and the interest is not so high, so we see that we can deliver good results without televoting. Although engage reaching social media, following the whole contest, where we can make sure that everyone who is watching can give their remarks, opinions, and have fun during the shows.
Thank you for that round of questions. We can have some questions from the floor, and then we'll continue with some more questions. You know the procedure, so whenever you're going to ask a question, please tell us your name and where do you come from.
Hello everyone, I'm Adrian, I come from Spain, ESUplus.com here. I have a question for the EBU and PBS. The contest started in 2003. After that, many broadcasters have refused to participate again, such as in my country, we won in 2004. But some people, like some broadcasters, like the Danish delegations, added that this contest was like a copycat of the Eurovision. That's why they didn't come back. Is EBU addressing this contest in a different way to approach these broadcasters to come back again? And how?
Well, yeah, we definitely are, and I think you're pointing out something that is right, that it shouldn't be just a small Eurovision Song Contest. It should have its own narrative. It should be a strong competition on its own. And we have talked a lot to broadcasters. We have invited broadcasters down here that will come and join the show and look at it and get familiar with it again. I had a talk with the newly appointed Director General of RTVE yesterday in Geneva, where I also addressed this very clearly, that we would love to see Spain on board again. And there are such a huge following for junior in Spain, and it's a pity that they don't participate. But again, it's not much we can do. They have to decide how they will fit this in on their schedule. But the interest is there, and I'm sure that we will continue to work on that as we do in every market.
Okay, hopefully. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Another question, please.
Hello, I'm Ahmed Halloun from ESUplus.com. It's interesting how Mr. John Ola said that at this moment you're trying to relax. You want to revamp the Junior Eurovision by taking out televote, change the schedule because you had stronger competition at the moment. Do you believe that after this moment, the brand of Junior Eurovision can get stronger again in a couple of years and having a very much or more following or more audience? Will you think that you will go back to Saturday nights, or well, not nights, or back to the Saturday and putting back the televote?
Well, that could very much be, and as I said, if we are static, we will lose in the end. So we have to be agile, we have to be flexible, and we have to be able and willing to move if necessary. And if we see a strong growth, and not from us deciding that it should be moved, but if questions come from broadcasters, hey, we want this back on Saturday, it's such a great show, then of course we will follow in that direction. But it's not up to us to choose where they are going to schedule it. We have to listen to those broadcasters who actually have the responsibility of scheduling such a show. But again, we have to be agile, we have to develop with the pace of the industry and make sure that we have a relevant product in 13 years from now.
Thank you, Ben Robertson, ESC Insight. Earlier this week there was a comment about how we're now in the right scale of what Junior Eurovision should be. And we have had big arena shows, and of course Malta 2 years ago had a very extravagant show in the shipbuilding area. Are there any specifics from this show about making it the right scale that you would maybe take and transfer to wherever we go next year?
Well, I agree very much what was said here from PBS. I think we have found a very good size for Eurovision Song Contest. If you bring, for the Junior Eurovision Song Contest, if you bring this show into a large hall, you will have difficulties in making a show that interact with the kids on stage. It is terrifying to walk into a big auditorium like that. It's expensive to lit, to make it look like a real warm and cozy house. But the size we have here, we can play so much more with the intimacy, with the connection between the kids and audiences, and also with the design of the whole venue. So we are not necessarily looking for a bigger venue, but that again will be a discussion with the next year's host broadcaster, to sit down with them, and they will provide ideas and drawings on how they could imagine this. to evaluate and decide on the basis of that.
Thank you for that question and answer. And two other questions in the front, please.
Good afternoon, it's JB from Radio International. I have a couple of questions. One is going for PBS, and it's away from the junior contest. It's for the next contest that you're going to be hosting, the Young Dancers. What are the ideas coming up for that in June, and for Jan Ola? What's the future for the Junior Eurovision Song Contest?
Would you like to start?
For the, it was the question about the Young Dancers that PBS is organizing in June, in the same venue here.
Well, PBS are still in discussions about the production. When we were in Prague a couple of weeks ago, we've presented the our proposal about the European Young Dancers, and for now, for the time being, that's all we can say. I mean, we've planned that we do it out in an open air, so we will have. I mean, it's June, Malta. The sun is there, not like today. So decided to have a break, but that's the plan, and we're enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, and I would just like to add that the steering group of young dancers is coming to Malta tomorrow, and will be here over the weekend, and also to have more discussions with PBS, have a look at their preferred venue or preferred area for doing this. And then let me then add to say that I think it's fantastic that as a small broadcaster and a small environment like PBS and Malta really puts flex their muscle actually when it comes to events like this, which is core public service events that we from the EBU are really happy and proud of. So for that reason we will see. But for the time being we will focus on junior. And to your question, the future of junior depends on the participating broadcasters. It depends on everyone who is willing to come on board and to lift it together. Because every co-production, it's not something that EBU can do alone. We need all the broadcasters on board, and we need them to lift together. We need them to be willing to invest in it. And it is not it's not a secret that there is a difficult financial situation around Junior Eurovision Song Contest, and it has been so for the last 3-4 years. So I think we have to look into that. We have work to do to talk to the broadcasters that are participating, to talk to those who don't participate, because it's a fantastic event. What you will see here on Sunday, it's so much talent. It's so heartwarming to see all these talented kids out there performing. And it will be an enthusiastic audience. So we will work as hard as we can from the EBU, and then the rest is up to the broadcasters. Come on board, stay on board, and create this together with us. It's always room for change.
Hello, it's Belen from escplus.com, Spain. Okay, you have mentioned that the panel of experts will be an alternative to televoting, right? Will they provide their children with comments after their performance? If yes, some people are saying on social media that that might get them nervous because it would look like an exam or something like that. What's your opinion about this?
So the experts will not be providing specific comments for every performer. They will see the entire of the show, the entire of the performers, 17 countries. After the 17 countries do their act, each expert will make a generic comment. So it will not be destructive or constructive comments specific to a child, but it would be on the overall performance.
And let me think that will they be in front of the stage?
Yes.
So don't you think that might cause extra nerves on children?
would say on the contrary, I think this will inspire them to see professionals sitting there watching them. There's already an audience out there of somewhere around 1,000 people. So, and that's terrifying. And then you have add a couple of million of viewers on top of that. So I don't think the expert panels really will scare them. And as Charles said here, it's important for us that they don't give these comments directly into the face of the artist. It's not X Factor, it's not Idol, it's a different thing. They are there to support the artists.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any more questions before we go for, because you've already asked a question? Okay, so seems like...
No, I have 3 more questions.
3 questions?
Yeah.
Okay, better be fast.
The first one goes for the PBS people. 2. 1. It's do the kids make like a jury final like in the senior Eurovision on Saturday? And if it's like the performance they're gonna do on Saturday, like the dress rehearsal, are the judges going to judge on Saturday or in their actual performance on Sunday? And the second question is, I think it should be for the head of delegation, but so what has done to Malta when did junior Eurovision twice and still haven't got the senior Eurovision? What's the missing piece there? And for Mr. John Olasand, I think this is a question everyone has been waiting. We wanted to ask. It's Australia coming to stay finally? Thank you.
For the second question, I believe that he has been tipped by some Maltese media, I believe. So can you start question by question?
Why we haven't been the winners of the Eurovision, that I have no answer for you. We leave that into the judges' hands. We've always performed the best way we could. We know we have talent, so that's not up to us. I mean, it's one day, maybe one day, it will come to Malta like the Junior Eurovision did twice. Maybe it can come once, twice, and also 3 times. Let's hope for the best. We embrace anything.
With regards to the voting, we have a new voting procedure this year. So we'll be having 3 different types of votes. There will be the professional jury in each country, and there will be the kids jury in each country. We are running on Saturday afternoon the jury final, but that will be embargoed to the jury. The jury in each country will be seeing that dress rehearsal on Sunday morning. Voting from the countries will start from the jurors to arrive to the voting partner in the time frame that the actual performance is being done. Okay. When it comes to the experts will be voting on Sunday's performance. And the weight of the experts' vote is equal to, so each expert has a weight of a vote from a professional jury from each country.
I believe you've got the answers for your questions. So we have another question here, and if there are any other questions, please put your hands up so we can deliver the microphone and get this done.
Good afternoon, my name is Ted Wood of Radio International in the Netherlands. In a way it's a comment and an observation, not from our point of view, not from the International Press Corps, because I haven't had a chance to ask them all, but we appreciate the facilities and welcome that we've been given here. And do you appreciate the International Press Corps coming to such a function?
Yeah, I can only say, of course. I mean, it's fantastic to see that you have, taken the time to come here and that you are following this event. And we would, I think it's great to see so many here. Overall, from press and from bloggers and sites. And so, yes, we are very happy to have you here.
We've even got from Brazil and South Africa.
Yeah, South Africa, Brazil. I just talked to them, so that's fantastic, and this can lead me into the third question, because these contests are growing outside of Europe, and more people around the world are watching both Eurovision Song Contest and Junior, and we see it because we receive a lot of feedback from South Africa, from Brazil, from China, from US, and that's of course fantastic. If Australia will stay in the contest for the coming years, we don't know. We will take a year-by-year decision. But I think they have proven that they really can come and deliver and add value to the show. I think they really get people on their toes again to say, wow, they are taking it seriously and they really can bring a great talent. So they are definitely in for 2007, preparing very hard at the moment, and they are here to participate here, and then we'll see whether they will continue to participate in both the contests in the future.
In this regards, do you see any other countries beyond Europe participating in the next years, apart from Australia?
For the time being, there's no discussion about that in the EBU or in the Eurovision Song Contest Reference Group. But we have neither had requests. I mean, it's not some, if I look out of my window, it's not a queue of broadcasters that want to participate. So first of all, they have to have a domestic audience. Otherwise, it's a waste to send it out and no one watches it. There will be no enthusiasm in the country. They have to have a legacy with Eurovision Song Contest and build that audience. And if they do so over years and they contact us and they can propose something that we can trust and to make sure that it will add value to Eurovision Song Contest out of Europe, then I think we could discuss it. But for the time being, it's not a discussion.
Okay, thank you for that answer. Another question, please.
Hi, this is a question. It's Andy from ESC Bubble. Question for Jon Ola, really. The changes that we've seen this year in Junior, like the change in the time slot, a bit of a change to the voting, could it almost be seen as a trial for the contest in May? Is it something maybe we'd look at as a kind of a one-off maybe and see if it works?
We will not do any changes with the timing of Eurovision Song Contest. It's actually been discussed whether it should have a changed time because it's running very, very late in huge part of Eastern Europe, and that's a pity. But for the time being, we have decided not to change the timing of the show, and certainly not the date. This is a prime time Saturday, a big spectacular, and it will still continue to be that. Also on the Tuesday and the Thursday. So rest assured.
Thank you.
Yes. So before we just mentioned Kiev. We're nearly less than 6 months away from the contest in Kiev in Ukraine. There have been some speculations running around on social media that yet progress is not running so according to schedules. What's the situation currently in Kiev?
I think this is actually my quote. It has been not running according to schedule, and there has been challenges all the way. Although a very good cooperation with NTU, the broadcaster there, they are facing quite some challenges when it comes to the regulation and rules and laws in Ukraine, laws that has recently been implemented to make sure that they have a more transparent way of dealing with big contracts, actually, in Ukraine. But Eurovision Song Contest, with a limited time, needs a fast track for these decisions. And you need a way of passing the bureaucracy, basically, when it comes to a lot of topics. Now they're back on track. I have over the last weeks, or even last days, I received a lot of good notes from them on progression, and even today was a big step taken when it comes to how this can more smoothly be run from a state broadcaster. Actually, NTU is a state broadcaster. It's not a public service broadcaster. They are in the middle of to be transforming into a public service broadcaster, and that also takes a lot of focus and resources, both from the government and from NTU. But we are back on track, and although we're late, I'm confident that we will manage to get it on, and we will see 3 fantastic shows out of Kiev. And I'll keep you posted.
Thank you for that. So, another question. Okay.
Okay, hello.
The last round of questions.
I've got two questions, one from Oyerola, the other one to PBS. First one is about the smaller venues that have now been chosen like this in the future. And for PBS, you recently announced that you will only have one show for the national selection in Malta for the Eurovision. How is the voting method like you're going to follow? Only 100% televoting? Could you explain us a little bit more about this, and if you think it's which one is the best way to select Malta's entrant to the forthcoming Eurovision?
Well, the show is going to be one show, the final show. We believe that there is no need to do an eliminatory phase, so leave it to the final show. The decision will be in the hands of the public. It's going to be one phone call, one vote. So the public will decide who the winner will be and who will be the representative of Malta for Eurovision. That's the best and most transparent and clear way of doing things.
And to your question about the sign, I think that's previous week. This is a very good sign. Next, look at what they foresee or what they can do, and then we'll get discussions.
About the junior contest is only civil countries broadcast to come in, which is join the Eurovision Song Contest. Other players are kind of the.
If we amount is not 2 hours 30 minutes, something like that, then I consider. Then we need broadcasters at least broadcasting. So in order to open up the fund, will be good. I think that's not something.
Junior.
It would be a great thing we can do to expand the show reach, amount of participants would be good. So yeah.
Well, I think after this show, all those that did not participate will feel very bad.
That's what I hope.
Probably
Yes, of course. You can remarks, and also obviously we are so biased here in Malta of what we've prepared for next Sunday, but this press conference.
Then I can have my last remark. Great work, and as they to change their team and start up fantastic. I think what I have seen from the logistics side to everything that's around the TV show, I've seen on the rehearsals, it will be time that goes and fun, and that we will convince us to come aboard. And for the
very much, thanks. Thank you. Another thing which we want to show also to the general public, and the trophy for next Sunday. Okay. So that's the winning trophy.
That's the winning trophy.
That's the winning trophy. That looks like similar to the stage as well as the part of the structure.
It's in the hand of the Maltese.
Well, the pole in the middle is the symbol of the emperor. So that's all in the
See it up on the winner next Sunday, the trophy. Thank you very much for coming over. Thanks for your time and have a good evening.
Bueno, se lo podemos preguntar. Se lo preguntamos a este, ¿no?